Hey, hockey fans, how's everybody doing? We'll just review some scores quick for games tonight, and then we'll make some picks for Thursday. There's 10 games on Thursday, so I'm going to try to go through this a little bit quick so the video's not too long. It was a good night. I was a little worried. Stone came back for Vegas, so I was a little worried for Minnesota, but Minnesota pulled it off, and they won 4-3. We got that one right. Edmonton controlled the game against Ottawa. They won 7-1. Yeah, it was crazy. Colorado, tight game in overtime. They won 2-1 over Arizona. We got that one right. The Ducks, they could not win 3 in a row. LA Kings won that game 5-1. We got that one wrong. But then the Canadiens beat Vancouver 5-1. We got that one right. So the best bet was Colorado. We got that right. So that streak goes to 9-5. My parlay was Colorado, Montreal, and Edmonton. We got all 3 of those right. So another parlay correct, which is awesome. And then picks were 4-1. So record goes to 63-47. Now we'll get on to the picks for Thursday. Thursday, we got the New York Rangers taking on the Boston Bruins. Boston is 3-5-2 in their last 10. Current overtime decision. Halak is listed in net for Boston against the Rangers, who are 6-4-0 in their last 10 with a current 2-game losing streak. Alexander Gorayev is confirmed to be in net for the Rangers. They're in 6th with 23 points in the Mass Mutual East. Boston sits in 4th with 30 points. The Rangers' last game was a 4-2 loss to Pittsburgh. The Bruins' last game was a 2-1 loss to the New York Islanders. Both these teams have lost 2 in a row. Panarin, I heard, has rejoined the team in Boston, which is awesome. He won't probably be playing, but these teams, I think, play again right away, and he'll probably play the second game against Boston on Saturday. A lot of pressure on Halak here. I mean, with Tuukka Rask out, both these teams are missing some key goalies, and that's always a factor. But Boston seems to have had struggles with these New York teams. I like this New York team. I'm going to pick this New York team to beat Boston, which I'm sure is an upset, but I'm going to pick it. The Rangers to beat Boston is going to be my first pick. Second game, another upset I'm going to pick, Pittsburgh against Buffalo. Buffalo, the worst team in the league, last place in their division, last place in the league, 1-7-2 with an overtime decision. Carter Hutton listed in net for Buffalo against a Pittsburgh team that's 7-3-0 with a current 3-game winning streak. Tristan Jarry is listed in net for Pittsburgh. They're in 3rd with 31 points in the Mass Mutual East against Buffalo, again in last 8th with 16 points. Penguins' last game was a 4-2 win over the Rangers. Buffalo, they lost their last game in a shootout to the Flyers. This is going to be the first meeting of these two teams, which I think is in Buffalo's favor. Eichel is still out. Allmark is still out. And, you know, a lot of people are going to say, yeah, Pittsburgh will take this game easy. But I think they might sleep here, and I think Buffalo can squeeze out a win maybe. I'm going to call Buffalo to beat Pittsburgh for my second pick. Third game, New Jersey Devils against a very hot New York Islanders team. Islanders 8-1-1 in their last 10. Current 6-game winning streak. Sorokin is listed in net for the Islanders against the Devils, who are 2-7-1 with an overtime decision. Mackenzie Blackwood listed in net for the Devils. They're in 7th with 19 points in the Mass Mutual East. The Islanders in 1st with 36 points. The Devils' last game was a 5-4 loss to Washington in overtime. They put up a good fight, but it was a loss. Islanders last played against Boston, won 2-1 in a shootout. Islanders lead this season series 2-1. Islanders going for number 7. Only other team in the league that has a comparable last 10 is Tampa. Islanders also defending that crazy home record that they've got going, where they have not been beaten at home in regulation. They're sitting at 11-0-2. You can't pick the Devils here. You got to like this Islanders team and the way they're playing and the way it's being coached. New York Islanders beat the New Jersey Devils. Next game, Washington against Philadelphia. Philadelphia 5-4-1 in their last 10, current 1-game winning streak. Brian Elliott, which I'm happy about, is listed in net right now for Philadelphia against Washington, who are 7-2-1 with a current 2-game winning streak. Samsonova is listed in net for Washington. They're in 2nd with 34 points in the Mass Mutual East. Philadelphia sits in 5th with 29 points. The Capitals last played the Devils and won 5-4 in overtime. Flyers last played Buffalo, and they won 5-4 in a shootout. Flyers, they're becoming known as the comeback team. I don't know if that's a title that I like for them, but they've come back in some great games. Game apiece in this series. The last one was 4 days ago, with Washington won that game 3-1. This is the first time that Elliott's going to face the Capitals this season. Two good goalies here. I mean, Samsonova has been solid in net for Washington as well. But I'm going to go with Philadelphia, the home team here. Philadelphia to beat Washington. That's my pick. Next game, Nashville against Carolina. Carolina 7-3-0. 6-game winning streak as well. James Reimer listed in net for Carolina. Nashville 5-4-1 with an overtime decision. Pecorine is listed in net for Nashville there in 6th with 23 points in the Discover Central. Carolina sits in 2nd with 37 points. Teams played each other on Tuesday, and Carolina won that game 3-2 in overtime. The Hurricanes have won all 3 times that these teams have met. Carolina is tied for the longest current winning streak with the Islanders, 6 games. Nashville, I think, has 7 guys out with injuries right now. And I think a good chunk of those guys are from defense. So I think that's going to be a problem for Nashville. And they seem to be able to get the lead, but they don't seem to be able to close a game. I'm going to go Carolina to get number 7 and stay head-to-head with the Islanders here. Carolina to beat Nashville. Next game, Florida against Columbus. Columbus 3-6-1 in their last 10 with a current 2-game losing streak. Korpisalo is listed in net for Columbus against Florida, 5-3-2 with a current 1-game winning streak. Bobrovsky has been confirmed in net for the Panthers. They're in 3rd with 36 points in the Discover Central. Columbus in 5th with 25 points. The Panthers beat the Blue Jackets a couple days ago 4-2. Panthers have a 2-1 lead in this season series. Columbus is in some trouble. Korpisalo has been doing what he can, but I think he's lost the last 5 of the last 7 games he's played. And Bobrovsky has been having some quality outings. The last game, I think he had 40 shots on him and he only let 2 in. With the Panthers' road record 9-2-1 and a goal differential of +12, whereas this struggling Columbus team at -18, I got to go Florida here. I thought Columbus might have won the last game, but I'm going to stay with the Panthers here. Panthers to win against Columbus is going to be my pick. Next game, Winnipeg against Toronto. Toronto 6-4-0 with a current 3-game losing streak. I think that's their longest losing streak this season. Anderson listed in net. Winnipeg 7-3-0 with a current 1-game winning streak. Hellebuck is listed in net. They're in 3rd with 33 points in the Scotia North. Toronto's still in 1st with 38 points. The Jets took the game on Tuesday by a score of 4-3, game apiece in this series. Tough pick here. Game could go either way for sure. Both teams are pretty healthy here. And the Leafs are going to be coming out 110% because they lose 4 in a row. I mean, I don't think anyone would have seen that coming if that happens. And I want to pick the Leafs for all the same reasons I picked the Leafs last time, even though I like the Jets and I like Scheifele. He's one of my favorite players. So this time I'm going to go with my gut and I'm going to pick Winnipeg to beat Toronto again and hand Toronto their 4th loss and see if Toronto figures out their problems or if Winnipeg gets the win. We'll see. My pick, Winnipeg to beat Toronto. Next game, Tampa against Detroit. Detroit 3-6-1 with an overtime decision. Thomas Greiss listed in net for Detroit. Tampa 8-1-1 with a current 2-game winning streak. Vasilevsky is listed in net for Tampa. They're in 1st with 38 points in the Discover Central. Detroit 8th last with 18 points. With these teams last played on Tuesday, it was another one that needed extra time. It was a 4-3 win for Tampa in overtime. The Lightning have won all 3 games these teams have played. Hedman and Killorn are really in stride for Tampa right now. I mean, and I think the Red Wings were happy to have Dylan Larkin back. He got a goal in the last game, the first game back, which is great. But Greiss is still looking for just his 2nd win in regulation this season. And first place against last place. In this case, I got to go Tampa. Tampa, the favored team, I think will win that game. Tampa to beat Detroit. Next game, Chicago against Dallas. Dallas 3-5-2 with a current 1-game winning streak. Anton Khudobin is listed in net for Dallas. Chicago 5-4-1 with a current 2-game losing streak. Kevin Lankinen is listed in net for Chicago. They're 4th with 31 points in the Discover Central against Dallas in 7th with 21 points. On Tuesdays, the Stars won that game 6-1. The Hawks lead the series 2-1, and both these teams have some key players out. And everyone knows the Stars are trending up. I think they're a good team, and they're favored here, which I don't quite agree with. I mean, Chicago's going to want some revenge after that 6-1 loss, and I don't see that happening again. I think this will be a tighter game. And I mean, Lankinen's going to be looking for his second win against this Dallas Stars team. And Chicago, I think, is going to come out hot here. So I'm going to go the Hawks. Hawks to beat Dallas for my pick. Next game, last game, Montreal against Calgary. Calgary 3-5-2 with an overtime decision. Markstrom listed in net for Calgary against Montreal 3-2-5 with a current one-game winning streak. Jake Allen listed in net for Montreal. They're in fourth with 31 points in the Scotia North. Calgary in sixth with 25 points. Canadiens won a game against the Vancouver Canucks tonight, 5-1. The Flames last played Ottawa, and they lost that game 4-3 in a shootout. Game of peace between these two. This is the first game where Daryl Sutter, the new coach for Calgary, will be behind the bench. And Montreal played a late game in Vancouver. Now they're going to Calgary. They're going to lose an hour. I'm going to go with the fresh team here, and I'm going to go with the new coach. And I'm going to pick Calgary to beat Montreal. I don't know if Daryl's mentality, how to motivate a team, is going to work long-term, but I think it will get a W in this game here. So my pick is going to be Calgary to beat Montreal, Chicago to beat Dallas, Tampa to beat Detroit, Winnipeg to beat Toronto, Florida to beat Columbus, Carolina to beat Nashville, Philadelphia to beat Washington, the New York Islanders to beat the Devils, Buffalo to beat Pittsburgh, the New York Rangers to beat Boston. My best bet is going to be that Carolina game, and I'm going to parlay Calgary, Florida, and the Islanders. Hope everyone has a great Thursday. Good luck with your picks. Thanks for watching, and talk soon.